Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy the technique I'm going to show you today. It's come about really through me trying to think of how we can make art at home with little or no media. So today I'm painting an eye on cardboard using coffee. So let me run you through some of the things that you'll need. Firstly, you'll need some coffee, regular or decaf, it really doesn't matter, it all works the same. You can see here that I've mixed some in a jar. This is quite a weak mix, which is good to use as a base, but you can add extra coffee to make darker tones. You'll need a saucer or small dish for mixing and some pencils. This is for drawing out your design onto cardboard and later adding some shading to give the eye some definition. A few brushes. You will need a medium and a small brush for the tighter details. A rubber just in case. And a knife for helping peel back the cardboard to create that distressed background, but you could just use a small kitchen knife or a pair of scissors. You'll also need some white paint. Now I have a tube of acrylic, but any water-based white paint in a tube will do. If you don't have paint, then look around in the garage because white emulsion paint is the perfect alternative. Many of us are ordering more items online and have surplus cardboard. I've trimmed a box down to about the size of a vinyl record. It's a square measuring 30 cm by 30 cm. Then you'll need some tracing paper. This is A4 in size, and next an image of an eye to copy from. Okay, we're ready to begin. You can draw this freehand, but for those who don't want to, I can show you how to trace a simple shape. Place the tracing paper over the eye, take a pencil and draw over the important features of the eye using just lines. So the eyelid, iris, pupil, lower lid and tear duct. Make sure you include the highlighted reflection in the eye. Now turn the tracing over and go over those lines quite heavily with your pencil. Doing this ensures the tracing will transfer onto the cardboard. Take your cardboard, check that you have the tracing the right way round, then position it in the centre using some tape to secure it. Take the pencil and go over the lines with some pressure. You can flip up the tracing to see if the pencil is transferred. I can just about make out the lines, but I will go over them with my pencil again so I can see a little more clearly. We can begin with the coffee painting now, so you'll need brushes and water. You only need a small amount of water, and here I'm adding about a teaspoon of coffee. A quick mix, and I'm going to check the intensity of my colour as I want to be able to see the colour on the cardboard. I'm finding this a little pale, so I think I'll add another teaspoon. That's much better now. First, I'm going over the lines I've drawn. Then I add some shading on the lid and paint solid colour on the iris. At this point, I now need to think about how I can get darker tones. The interesting thing about painting with coffee is that when you mix a strong solution, it dries and it has this glassy finish. It's quite shiny. This is a solution I used earlier that has dried out. I'm going to mix a dark solution to use on the pupil, so I'm spooning some of the coffee I just mixed and I'll add a little more coffee to it. Here we go with the pupil. Look how much darker it is. I need to add some shadow on top of the iris. This is the shadow cast by the eyelid and this will really make the eye pop. Refer to your image to check where those darkest tones are and carry on painting. Time to change brushes and paint in the tighter details. I'm adding an outline around the iris and then feathering the line inward with little flicks of the brush. This adds some realistic texture to the eye. Now I can add another layer of coffee to build up the intensity, and with a small amount on the end of the brush I can create further texture lines within the iris. I still feel that this pupil needs to be darker, so another layer is applied. I'm ready now to apply some white. As it's acrylic, I need to mix it with a little water so it can be applied smoothly. I'm focusing on the white parts of the eye either side of the iris and also the reflection highlight. You can mix the white with a little coffee to make parts of the area a little more creamier in colour. I want the white of the highlight to be nice and bright, so with a small brush I'm using pure white. Again, you can add further layers of white to give it more intensity. I've checked my image and I can see that a few more highlights I need to add. This is the key to realism, observing as closely as you can. I can add some lighter texture to the iris using small lines. They need to be quite random. Here I'm adding another layer of coffee to build up the dark areas further. Now I can paint the veins and the white of the eye. So, holding the small brush quite lightly, if I twist and turn the brush, I can make a broken mark that looks like a vein. The reflection in the pupil has a shadow cast by the eyelashes, so I'm going to paint that part in now. A few quick strokes will do that. Now for the eyelashes and the small brush. They have a distinct curl to them, so my brush must follow that motion. They are different lengths too, being much longer and fuller at the side of the eye, and also lashes overlap each other, so observe that feature. Here I'm just breaking up the plain background with a little wash of coffee and we're nearly finished. I can now add some pencil because I feel another media would look good and give my artwork impact. Looking at my image, I can see a few areas that would benefit from this, so I will blend and shade with pencil. Now for some distressing. Cardboard has a lovely texture underneath the top layer. All the corrugated folds will add a nice pattern to my artwork. I could peel off with my fingernails, but I found it easier to lift the edge first with a craft knife, but you could use a kitchen knife or the edge of a pair of scissors. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Bye!